I am the Chancellor Emeritus of Penn State Greater Allegheny, which is located in White Oak, PA.
Okay.
And that is to say I'm retired from that area to become Chief for Education and Neighborhood Reinvestment at the behest of Mr. Bill Peduto, who's currently the mayor.
And what you do is super important, because if we don't get all the kids doing what they're supposed to do, what's left for us, right?
You are 100% correct.
Yeah.
And that is our task, to get all the kids in school, out of school, getting them to do what they ought to be doing.
That's right.
What they ought to be doing in school is enhancing themselves through education. And what they ought to be doing out of school is enhancing themselves through all kinds of other good ways.
So I was a teacher for 10 years, 13 years actually,
terrific.
In McKees Rocks.
Oh, terrific.
So I know the plight of the kid in the poor neighborhood who just doesn't get the same resources, doesn't get the same opportunity, doesn't come from a background of privilege, and so they often struggle to become competitive, right?
Yeah, you and I can have a conversation about that.
We could have a long conversation about that. So I wonder what sort of things as an administration you guys are thinking about to kind of fix those inequity issues.
Well, the first thing is to collaborate with the Pittsburgh Public Schools.
Yeah.
To build collaboration between the city government, the mayor's office, the city council, the Pittsburgh Public School System, parents and students, and others, our corporate leadership, our tech leadership, and we are currently doing that right now.
Yeah.
There is currently an educational task force that has representation from all of those sectors, and we are talking about the serious problems of education in the city of Pittsburgh. And while it is not historically the first time, it is definitely the strongest collaboration between city government and the city schools that we've seen.
So when I sat on the transition team for innovation and performance, and you were my second choice, I was very torn as to which direction I should go, because I do have a warm spot in my heart still for those kids, right?
Yes.
What I've noticed over the years is that meaningful opportunities for kids happen when you put them in places where they're not comfortable. And we were talking with your collaborator over there,
Dr. Grant Overton.
That's correct, about how you guys are doing the program to give city employment, kids jobs in the summer, right? And that's awesome. It's an excellent opportunity to get a kid into a situation where they're going to meet new people, they're going to have a new culture to adjust to, and they're going to learn and grow more so than they might do in a classroom, especially a certain type of kid, right?
Yeah, we were talking with both Dr. Grant Overton and I were talking with Mickey, who's the head of Maya.
Maya Design.
Maya Design. And that's one of his key tenets, is that you need to put people in uncomfortable locations in terms of their creativity. That, for example, he suggests, not necessarily having a classroom full of 3D printers, but put a 3D printer out in the space where the kids hang out. And let them see what they will do with it. And so it's the same thing. If we put opportunity, if we put the possibility of advancement in front of our children, they will get to it.
Yeah.
They will get to it.
And that goes back to, research-based ideas, right? Like that inquiry is the way that most people successfully learn. The idea that you put it in their hands. And let them teach themselves and let them teach each other.
Exactly.
The kids these days, if I may, pontificate. Once a podcast.
Well, you are. Go ahead.
I say things like I'm an expert, and then I hope that other people believe that I'm expert. But kids these days, their brains are changing. Our brains are changing because of how they interact with media. Their brains are changing with how they interact with each other. And a kid growing up with an iPad from 2 years old is going to be a different adult than you are, and a different adult than I am.
We're on the same page.
And
as a matter of fact, if there is a page anymore.
And what we're bad at, and I see this in affluent districts, and I see this in poor districts, is putting a Band-Aid on it, but not addressing the root issue of what we should be educating around. So let's buy kids laptops or iPads, and let's just give them laptops and iPads. But that's not really what we should be doing. We should be teaching the kid that they can engage that laptop. We should be teaching them to code. We should be giving them opportunities to break that laptop and then learn from that experience.
Definitely teaching to code. For example, you're a teacher of a certain generation. I don't know if you guys still teach kids how to diagram sentences.
I was a chemistry teacher,
Back in my day, they did that. So it's like the fundamental ability to grasp the language. Coding is the language of
tomorrow and today
and the next day,
Yeah.
And so, we should be doing that.
Yeah.
And we should be allowing kids to discover, along with what the teachers already know, what they can know.
Yeah.
If we should do anything, I think we should give them a challenge, give them goals that and see how they can get there.
Yeah.
Now, this means a fundamental recreation of education as we have come to understand it,
Absolutely.
moving out of the industrial age.
Yeah.
And so we'll get there.
Yeah.
Because we always get where we need to be. But we won't get there without the kind of push that this mayor is trying to do about making education, for example, a central tenet of the administration's outlook.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a central part of the mayoral vision. And so in that regard, it's significant. It's key that you now have a mayor and an administration that is looking at education as an aspect of municipal development. That's a decent step.
Powerful idea.
Yeah, I think so.
I think so too. I think that what we see in co-working, we run a shared office space. This
Yes.
idea of collaborative, informal, organic growth
Yes.
through these kind of social structures.
Yes.
I think that's where education needs to go.
That is true. I mean, for example, with the education task force that I mentioned earlier, we have got it down to looking at really collaboration between all of the entities that ought to be concerned about our children, and remarketing, or marketing rather, representing Pittsburgh schools and education in the city of Pittsburgh, so that we get to an image of something like Pittsburgh, the learning city.
Yeah.
Or the city of learning and health.
Yeah.
So that this is a core value for our country. It's where we came to have a literate citizenry, and it will be for this city, and obviously is now. And again, the key is we have an administration now, we have a mayor now who's really focused on how the value of education becomes a building block for a city.
Powerful stuff. And without it, we won't have democracy, right?
We will not have it as long as we want to keep it.
Yeah. So
Thank
we
you
have to
very
work really hard. I appreciate your time, sir.
My time.
Thank you.
And yours as well. Thank you.